watch the FA Cup final
Live.
at the Wembley. Virat is watching.
Yes.
with
Virat and
Anushka.
watching.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, hello to everyone who's joining us. We are talking about the FA Cup, Manchester United versus Manchester City. The Manchester derby, not in Manchester but in UK. What, my mic's not on?
No.
Oh,
Catching Gandhi.
Yeah.
so they heard.
They heard, yeah.
They heard me. So the FA Cup final at Wembley, and Virat, Anushka. Other than that, I think Yuvraj Singh is also going to be.
Oh.
He's
Yuvraj is a United
big
fan.
United fan. How I know is because I think I saw a video of him promoting the FA Cup final
Yuvraj.
for the broadcaster.
Oh.
I think even certain Bollywood stars are also going, I think.
By the way, Mahendra Singh Dhoni is also a United fan.
He is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Hmm.
But he's not going. He's in Ranchi.
Easy.
I remember, I think in 18 when the team went, that's when he himself went and a couple of other players also gave him company to Old Trafford.
If only I had sporting knowledge in 2007. I had gone to the Theatre of Dreams. I was like, oh, what is the big deal all about? But then I saw the museum and all that, and then when I realized then.
When I remember in 2019 when I went there as a fan, that I went to witness the Villa game, United Villa game. I didn't know that right where the tram stops at the station, you have the Old Trafford cricket ground first.
Yes.
So there was, oh, this is bonus for me. I never thought I would be stumbling upon the Old Trafford cricket
They were
ground.
next to each other.
I saw
Lovely.
United versus Everton in that match in 2007.
Wow.
I was numb for the longest.
In that next
Couldn't
year.
believe.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe.
Now I look back at it.
Because I had, see, at some point this was top of the bucket list for me. And that moment it made me realize, frankly, I was 25 then. I didn't realize that my dream would come true at the age of 20. I thought at a much later point in life I'd be living that dream.
No, your dreams keep changing. I had lots of dreams, and once I kept achieving them, the
New
goalpost changes.
Yes.
New dreams come in. One of your dreams I will live. That is not to watch a game, but to play a game
At Old Trafford.
at the Theatre of Dreams at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
I'm carrying my boots.
You are?
So they've sent me a list of do's and don'ts. So before the match, firstly your studs cannot be the metal studs, not allowed. You have to have either the
Synthetic ones.
No, either the plastic studs or your trainers, the rubber trainers.
Yeah.
So you can only wear those two. Shin guards are a must. You cannot. I never wear the shin pad. You have to wear the shin pad. And third, and the most important thing, which I never do, you have to go through the warm-up drill, which will be conducted by their trainers.
Wow. Oh my God.
And it's written in bracket compulsory.
Yes.
So you can't say, I don't do warm-ups.
So
I play. No, you cannot. You have to go through the.
It's not like the CSK optional session.
No. It's not an optional session at all.
At all.
And you have to follow their trainers' warm-up. After that, whatever you do is your headache. However you play, break your bones, do whatever.
You've been to the stadium, no? Before
have,
as well?
yes.
You've taken the tour.
Yeah.
I have, yes.
Lovely.
I have. I'm not a United fan, but because I was there.
That's very superb. The tour is a superb experience. Even I was there. Two contrasting experiences. The football match was superb to watch in. Next year when I'd seen England, New Zealand, oh boy, I suffered because of the wind.
Wind, yeah, it's very cold. I mean, I've covered cricket games also.
Yeah.
It's very cold, I agree.
Yeah.
Wind. Because it's open from a lot of.
And that time that east-west orientation hadn't happened. So it was much more windier. And my fingers, my God, they became numb. I said, I have to.
I remember. I was
In summers.
August.
and I went in peak winters. I went in December. And I was shivering through the match. Shivering. So much so that after a point, so I waited for the players to come out, take the bus, wait for a good hour. But after a point, and there were so many times I was just about to relent because it was just so difficult. I had to have a couple of warm beverages just to keep myself warm.
Was it wet?
Yeah.
Was it wet?
I really liked the hot chocolate there.
Hot chocolate is.
Yeah.
Was it wet there when you went?
Yes.
Oh, then it was worse.
And I was like, yeah, this doesn't feel normal to me. By the time I got back to the hostel that I was staying at, the temperature was -2.
Winters not. But we're here to talk about summers in England.
Yeah.
Because it's in the summers that you have cricket. Cricketing season is in the summers. Football is a more wintry and the monsoon rainy season sport there.
Yep.
Of course, it's played in the summers too, because it's played year long. It can be, but cricket you cannot play Even in summers you get rains there, so there's a problem. And it can rain anytime in England, and that's why we're here for WTC final coming up. Just to let you guys know that we will be bringing all the live coverage live from London, starting on the 4th itself, which is tomorrow.
Yep.
I'll teleport myself. I'm live here, but tomorrow I'll be live from
Fantastic.
London, from outside the Oval, with some updates of the Indian team's practice, or what their 11 is going to be like, what's the weather like, which is going to be very important because I mean, having been to England a few times, certain days in summers are so hot that you feel that you need air conditioning, which was never the case in the UK many years ago. Now certain summer days get very hot, but it could be like today is a very hot day, 32 degrees, and some days 32 feels like 42 here or even more there. But then the next day could be windy and cloudy and it's spitting and cold and you have to bring your jacket out. So the temperature changes a lot. So we don't know how it's going to be in those days that the test match is going to be played, 7 to 11. But here's a reminder that there's a reserve day as well, right? So that is the 12th.
Yes.
But we'd be hoping that whatever happens, and most likely we'll get to know by the 11th, rain or no rain.
No more reserve days, please.
Yeah.
We had a 3-day T20.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Even the ping ball test in Ahmedabad didn't last for 3 days.
But you can't have more than a 6-day test.
Yeah.
One reserve day.
Yep.
Can't go more.
Can't go beyond that.
And plus the timing wise also,
Ha.
it can't.
It can't.
Because also in that game, lights are on, play at 12, whatever. In UK,
You can play till 8 in the night, 9 in the night, it'll still be bright.
yeah, but they will, at certain moment, when the time cutoff is, it's cut off. Test match cutoff is test match cutoff.
Yeah. Only half an hour
Sacrosanct,
extension.
only half an hour extension.
But there, even though it took us 3 days to know who our winners were, here, for all you know, the two teams could be sharing the spoils also.
If it rains only then.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that if it goes, see how many draws are you getting now?
Very few.
Very few. And that too
Unless
in-
you prepare
in
a
England.
feather bed of a wicket like Ahmedabad.
No, but with the conditions that are on offer, if you get full 90 over a day, 5-day test match,
Result.
you're definitely getting a result. Yeah, the only way that doesn't happen is that 2 or 3 days get washed out because reserve day also then goes. So if that happens, then yes.
Or like Siddharth said, if it's an Ahmedabad track, we're just going there
Now,
and
how will
scoring
you have the
runs.
Ahmedabad track? We will,
Yeah, just
that
hope-
is what we will try and
Find out.
exactly. That is what we're here for on the dugout today. What is the weather going to be like? That's the most important thing. For those days, that is from 7th to 12th, those 6 days where the match is going to be played. And my good friend Siddharth here has done some in-depth weather reporting and has come up with something. Can we cut it full frame? Yes. Anurag? And please explain what it is. And if you make a mistake, I'll get Gargi to correct you.
Weatherman.
Okay.
She knows her weather data very well.
She knows her weather data well. Okay, so from Wednesday, 7th onwards, where the test match is going to start. Luckily, the chances of rain are very, very minimal. Even the weather office in the UK has said that. Partly cloudy, but at times lot of sunny weather. So the rain will most likely stay away from southern United Kingdom or London. For
That percentage that you've given us, is that the percentage of area where it will rain or percentage chance of rain coming?
precipitation.
Percentage of area, that I may say.
So the percentage area. Not chances.
It's not the chances.
No, but what it does, just to explain those percentage that you're seeing, as Siddharth is pointing out, because somewhere they do tell you percentage chances of rain as well, but mostly when you see percentage, it's actually, if you're looking at, let's say, weather of London, then it'll tell you that if it does rain, it will cover only 8% of London when it does rain. Now, while it's not percentage chance of rain, but when the area is very small, it kind of gives you an idea that rain might not happen, or even if it happens, it's going to be just like for a very short while. Because if it's just 8% of area, you can imagine how. If it covers a lot of area, then you know that clouds are going to stay for longer and rains may continue for longer. So that percentage will anyway give you an idea, even though it's covering the area, will give you an idea of will it rain a lot or not and hamper the game. And I'm very happy to see 8%, 8%, 8%, 7%, 15%, and
6%.
Wow,
So
very good.
Unlike 2021, when the
Yeah.
first, even preceding 3 days of the WTC final, it was dominated by rain. Even in the test match, you had 2 days of rain. Still, the weather is not as bad as it was in Southampton. First time you're going to play a test match in June at the Oval. So, London is currently not having any kind of rain threats at this point in time. Even cross-checked from the Met Office also there. But do remember, even the Met Office UK also gets their weather predictions wrong.
Yeah.
But traditionally, when you looked at events held in June, we saw the ICC Champions Trophy. When it was held in southern England, there wasn't much of interruptions. More interruptions came towards the Midlands, towards Edgbaston, towards northern England. That was the time most of the interruptions came. But you played at the Oval. India played a game there in 2013 and 2017. Hardly any kind of rain.
Yeah.
2017 Champions Trophy. I do remember sometimes there was rain intervention, and I think July was the time you had the.
No, hardly. I mean, I was there
Hardly,
covering.
yeah.
I covered the tournament. So the one.
See, the South Africa
We
game,
had a few games, passing showers.
Passing
but, yeah.
showers.
the passing shower bit came in the Sri Lanka match, where only for 5-10 minutes it was.
India Sri Lanka game, yeah,
at the Oval.
Which Sri Lanka beat
Won
India.
322
Incredible,
chasing.
yeah, they chased 300.
Yeah.
And I remember that game very clearly because the entire ground was packed with Indian supporters.
Yes.
And India was doing very, very well. 300 they got, so imagine. And the crowd, as the game progresses, becomes boisterous, loud. Indian fans packed.
Yes.
So the stadium was 95% Indian fans.
Yeah.
3-4% or
3%
90%
neutrals.
Indian fans, 5-7% neutral
Neutrals.
fans, and about 1 or 2% Sri Lankan fan. In fact, there was just this one part of a stand,
Yeah.
so one square in a stand
Yes.
where you had Sri Lankan fans. But credit to them. So imagine, out of the 100 over game, about 80-90 overs, it was India's game.
Yeah.
So for that period, Indian fans, you can imagine, screaming, celebrating, almost not bullying, but
Being on top of
the Sri Lankan
Yeah.
fans. Right? But those guys were amazing. So if you watch the cricket game in Sri Lanka, they always have a band.
Yeah.
And they sing and dance.
The Baila songs.
And they continued for those 100 overs.
Wow.
Just singing, dancing. And towards that last bit when they were winning, the Indian quiets were quiet.
Quiet,
crowd.
yeah.
Yeah.
And those guys kept singing till the
He
end.
spotted Percy there. Percy.
Percy wasn't there. I
He wasn't
think.
there,
No,
Percy.
I don't
Percy.
think he traveled.
Percy Abhay
Yeah,
the super fan.
Yeah, so not too much rain. So that's one good news Siddharth has given us, that in the 6 days there, one being a reserve day, chances of rain is very less. So that is established. But what about the other thing? Partly cloudy. Now, if it's partly cloudy on all days, partly cloudy also means that the clouds will come and go.
Yeah.
So then it becomes a luck of the draw.
Swing and seam.
Yes. So under cloud cover, and then as I said, it could be when you get partly cloudy, let's say on day one, it could be partly cloudy, let's say first 2 hours only.
Yes.
And then the bright sunshine comes in later. So imagine first 2 hours. If you are to bat first, so timing in England is very, very important, and coincidence in terms of how the weather is and what you're doing at the time, whether you're
Yeah.
bowling or batting.
Yeah.
So that is a luck of the draw. Nobody has any control, and it changes also. It could be day one, day two, the luck of the draw favors you, that you are bowling and it's cloudy, but it could change that when you're batting also it could be cloudy, or vice versa, or when you're bowling suddenly the sun comes out. So it can change over the 5 days. But I think more often than not it kind of evens out over 5 days.
There will be some cloudy spells, but then mostly it'll be sunshine at this point.
So that's good. I mean, if you were the two teams between India and Australia, if you're India, you'd prefer sunshine most of the time. Though that's not to say that Australia are too comfortable with swinging and seaming conditions, because they don't get a lot of that in their own country.
Yeah.
They're more used to bounce actually
Yes.
rather than
Swing
and seam.
movement.
And we got a glimpse of how the weather will be in that time. You've seen the Indian practice visuals at Arundel. It's been sunny. Sunny with a bit of wind.
Wind,
Well,
yeah.
quite windy in fact.
Yeah. The wind will be there at this
wind
point.
will be there.
I think it was one of the players. I think it was Aksar, perhaps, who in one of the videos that was put out by the BCCI, he said that yes, it does feel cold here. It is cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at the
No, but
temperatures.
if you're from the west of India,
Yeah.
you will feel cold even.
Even.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes to 9, I mean, in Mumbai, sometimes in that era, in the 90s and 2000, when it went to 19 degrees, they would wear mufflers. I know what? This is cold for you.
Like let's say Shami won't be feeling that cold.
Yeah, he won't.
Or north of India. Though he's
Virat.
now played a lot in Bengal, so maybe
Yeah. No, but the thing is that UK weather, because of that wind, it's a killer.
Yeah.
Anywhere, even if you're in Kashmir also, if you're used to that cold, that wind in the UK will kill you.
By the way, it is going to be, as Siddharth points out, that first time you're playing a test match in June
At the Oval.
At the Oval. Mostly it's slightly later in the summer when it tends to get a bit more hotter. So you're just setting into the summers there. And if you see the temperature, it is cold. So it's 21, 11, 23, 13, 25, 14. Now it's still warm by UK standards.
Yeah.
So you will pretty much see a lot of locals, if you see them take that t-shirt off when the sun is out and sitting there in 23 degrees, it's pretty normal for them because that's the only summer they get.
Yeah.
But it's going to be cold for the Indian players. For sure, it's going to be cold.
Yes.
These kind of temperatures in certain parts of our country are winter temperatures. Not north of India, but most other part of the country. Yeah, this is winter temperature.
This is.
Like if it was to, hypothetically, if it's 23 and 13 in Mumbai, jackets are out.
Yeah.
Winter's declared.
Yeah.
It's around November in India when it's just about the onset. 26, 14,
North of
20, 30.
India.
Yeah, north of
But
India.
this is peak winter summer. So I'm saying these are slightly colder conditions, not those hot days that we were talking about, which England can get, but it will probably come in July or around that time. I remember that 2017 championship we were talking about, it did get very hot there.
Yes.
Especially towards the second half of the tournament. Very hot. My hotel in London, they didn't have an air condition because London they don't. It was so hot you could not sleep.
Did they get you those fans?
Fans.
I had to make do with those fans.
No, it becomes stuffy because the setting of the houses and the hotels are such, they never warranted for this kind of a heat wave ever.
Yeah.
But once you go there, it's very stuffy. And remember, if they say 32 or 33, it feels like 42, 43 because the atmosphere is thinner. It's on a much higher
No
latitude.
pollution, yeah.
No pollution.
So nothing to, the sun rays come directly hit you. Here, if it's 32, by the time it filters through the pollution, it becomes cooler.
So a friend of mine who travelled to London and is, by the way, probably will be there at the Oval as well for the final, fifth day ticket season. Just talking to him what it feels like. Like, firstly tell me, and he's a Delhiite too, so like, how are the lungs reacting? First tell me that. How's the body reacting? Like the lungs are confused right now. They're not used to such, like from 500 I'm here in 25 AQI.
I know.
So typical English conditions are going to be on offer. Luckily, no rain.
No rain.
But cold and windy. Cold by Indian standards, not by UK standards. So that's going to play an important role. So you will see the ball move around. Now, do we have something on the ball?
Yes.
Let's
That
go
is
to
at
that.
the end.
Let's go to, because we spoke about the ball, because the ball is going to move
You
around.
might want this.
This is an SG though.
SG,
This is an
yes.
SG test ball used in India. But remember, it's now confirmed. There was a bit of confusion whether Kookaburra would be used or Dukes would be used. It's now confirmed that Dukes would be used. And I think that's only fair because it's a neutral ball in that sense.
Yes.
Kookaburra is used by
Australians.
Australians and SG is used by India. Dukes is traditionally used in England and England is not playing, so no sort of home advantage for any team.
Yeah.
So Dukes to be used, which is sort of a neutral ball, also the local ball which is used there.
Yeah.
And by the way, if I remember correctly, Virat's a big fan of the Dukes ball. He had said it earlier a couple of times that why don't we have the same ball everywhere in Test cricket rather than having different balls. And he actually vouched for the Dukes, if I'm not mistaken. I remember, maybe we can check. So because the Dukes ball is going to be used and slightly cooler temperatures, windy temperatures, ball is going to move around. So what's the difference between the Dukes, the SG and the Kookaburra?
See, the Dukes and the SG in particular, if you look at the seam, it's much more prominent. And because it depends upon the conditions. If you play in England, for example, the Dukes is played in England mostly, if it's a green outfield, green pitch, the seam remains for a longer period of time. The SG also has a very prominent swing. It laid in bounce and swing.
See the scene.
Yeah.
Very prominent.
But because it is used in rather rougher conditions in the subcontinent, it wears off much quicker.
Yeah.
But that's not the case with the Kookaburra. The Kookaburra seam is thinner because the other main difference is SG and Dukes, the thread is stitched by hand.
So I hope, because it's not really clear, it's not on top, but the extreme left is the SG, then is the Dukes, then is
Dukes
the
in the middle,
Yeah.
Kookaburra in the right.
If those names had just come over it, we would have
Yeah.
known, but they're not. But at least they're in order.
Yes.
So they are in order. Okay.
Yeah. The Kookaburra, what happens is you've seen in Australia, first 20 to 25 overs, it'll swing. After that, the swing disappears because the seam also disappears.
Yeah. So one thing you will, by the way, if you were to ask our spinners between the Kookaburra and the Dukes, they would have picked the Dukes because more pronounced seam. It allows them to grip the ball very well.
Yeah.
So Indian spinners would be definitely happier that you've got the Dukes as compared to Kookaburra. They'd be happiest with the SG, but since that's not an option, it was between the Kookaburra and the Dukes. So they'd be happy that you've gone with the Dukes.
Yeah.
In that sense. So that is there. And by the way, the Dukes does move around a lot. And as Siddharth pointed out, Kookaburra really loses its shine pretty early on. And after a few overs, you don't see it move around. Dukes does. There's one trend that I've seen with the Dukes ball in the recent past. I don't know whether this will continue. Is that sometimes it is not the first 10 overs where it's doing a lot. I don't know for whatever reason. A brand new Dukes. But suddenly there comes a stage after the 10th, 11th or 12th or maybe the 15th over mark, and then it starts talking.
Yeah.
So you will see certain, and if my memory serves me correct, you will see that the openers be slightly comfortable in the first 10-15 overs sometime.
Yep.
Just begin to build a partnership, but then they get like 30, 20, 30s they are on. And then comes a period when the Duke starts moving, and then you see a flurry of wickets fall after that. So you could be like 40-45 for no loss, and by the time you know, it could be 60 for 3 or
The
something
collapses.
like
Why does that happen though?
that. I don't know.
Because India in the 2021 World Test Championship final, Shubman Gill and Rohit had gotten off to a good start. They were 62 for no loss. After that, the ball started to swing. Maybe overhead conditions might matter.
Overhead
I
conditions,
think it's the
because I
wind.
remember
no, but it's happened in different conditions.
because Virat, I remember during the match that he's pointing at, I remember Virat saying a couple of times during the course, he said that there were those couple of times where the conditions weren't favouring us, and that's why we lost. Those 15-20 minutes, remember that he talked about, that 20 minutes took the match away from us. Again, those were the moments where the ball was swinging, and yes, it did get overcast.
No, but I'm saying, why is it that we'll find out in this particular. Why is it that no matter the conditions, of course, the conditions will aid it.
Yeah.
But you will see a slightly more pronounced movement after the first 10-15 overs.
Maybe
I don't know. Maybe
the moisture content and the earlier
Maybe.
pitch condition changes
Maybe.
on an hourly basis there because it's natural grass that you get in England pitches. You don't have to artificially grow it or at a particular point in time. So maybe the real true nature of the wicket,
Yeah.
it's beaten by sun, it's beaten by cloud. Cloud reacts differently, sun reacts differently.
You know who had pointed it out? Again, I'm saying just top of my memory, and maybe it'll help us research it later. I remember Nasir Hussain telling
Okay.
this. This may have been ahead of the India Test match or the India Test series that they went to England at that time. I remember Nasir talking about it. That is, maybe it may have been the batch of balls that year that were doing that, the Duke's ball that year. I don't know.
And remember, in 2022, there was a huge problem when it came to the Duke's ball. They were saying it was going out of shape much more quicker. It reacted differently. The counties reported a big problem in that.
But
Now
subsequent season, they've
it's been
sorted
fine
it out.
now. Yeah.
So you're not going to have that. So Duke's ball going to be there. The seamers will love it. The spinners will love it. I'm not sure the batsmen will love it. It'll trouble them.
Maybe.
But if you apply yourself,
Yeah.
Maybe you could pick the brains of the makers there. I think somewhere close to London only they would be based.
no, Duke's I think is Nottingham.
Is it in
No.
Birmingham?
Could be. No, I remember no, but that was in.
Dukes, I think, is somewhere in the Midlands area. That
Makers,
side.
huh?
Yeah, I think it is there.
Maybe.
Dukes, so
Maybe.
that's why. London. SG though is right here in Meerut.
Yeah.
And Kookaburra is, I think, in
SG you visited, na, recently?
No.
No.
There was it.
Yeah.
And Kookaburra is obviously Australian, so I think that was the worst ball I feel in cricket that's used. The Kookaburra, yeah.
Really?
But for white ball cricket, it's the
White
Yeah.
ball, not for red ball.
It swings a lot more. Kookaburra. White.
White.
Yeah.
Because why do you think Australia made pitches which would aid? Because they knew the Kookaburra would lose its swing and seam after 20 overs. So they relied on movement from the deck. The basic thing is in England, you can get movement both in the air and off the deck because the stadiums and the pitches are much more open. If you may
And
say.
the weather.
Weather. But in Australia, everything's closed. The stadiums are hemmed in.
Plus, it's the weather also.
Weather.
Very hot.
So that's why you need movement of the deck. The Kookaburra can do that. If the seam is gone, you need movement of the deck. That's the thing.
So that's the bit about the weather and the ball. But since they're going to be playing in the oval, what does the
overall record.
oval say?
So
By the way, it's my favorite ground in England.
it is.
I'll tell you why. Precisely for the reason that is seen in the picture.
That
Yeah, so I remember as a young kid when I used to watch cricket in England, I could recognize the oval very easily because of this
it's a gas.
Yes.
Thing, gas factory.
gas factory, and they have not one but they have a few.
Yes.
As her name, and would really stand out. India also traditionally did well at the oval,
Very much.
so maybe that, all of that. Lords, I always felt, I don't know, I just didn't like the shape of the ground
Firstly,
much.
it is expensive to get in.
No,
Oval is much more cheaper to
than-
get in.
More than that, firstly, it's a bit unusual. So that slope, and
that's
very
slope,
pronounced. That slope.
Yes.
Just I didn't take a instant liking to it,
Yeah.
and also the shape of the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like squarish.
Yeah.
So again,
I just remembered, if you have to look at the way why the ball starts to behave very awkwardly, say after 10 to 15 overs, most of the grounds in England are next to the river.
Yeah.
Maybe that river.
not Lords though.
Huh? Not Lords, I'm saying even
Oval is.
Oval
Yes,
is near the
Oval is,
Thames.
yes.
Trent Bridge is near the river
Just-
Trent.
Yeah, next to it.
So the river stadiums that are closer to the river, that also makes a big difference because the river currents, the winds there also, they also can pick up at certain points in time. So I just remembered something because Oval, it's near the Thames,
Oval is very
southeast
walking
of
distance.
SE19. So
Oval's walking distance from the Thames,
Yep.
and of course same with Trent Bridge as well.
Exactly.
Just walking distance, not really Lords. So this is India's overall record. Played 14 matches, won 2, lost 5, and have drawn 7. Which is why if people are wondering how is it that I've said better record, because compared to other cricket grounds in England,
Yes.
this would be a good
and
record.
let me just point out this one particular record which many have not known. 1971 we won at the Oval for the first time. We won the first ever series in England thanks to
Yes.
Bhagwat Chandrasekhar. But for 36 years we didn't lose at the Oval. We didn't lose from 1971 to 2007. We didn't lose a single test match. We almost won chasing 438 at the Oval with Sunil
Gavaskar's
Gavaskar's
double hundred.
221. Had
with
those,
a, if I'm not mistaken, with a torn trouser,
yes,
Gavaskar.
yes,
Really?
yes.
Yeah, if you see the highlights of that knock, you will see it. I think it was this knock, the double hundred he got at the Oval.
At the Oval.
You will see a tear in his trouser here.
He didn't realize.
No, he did realize. He was running around with that.
But he was
maybe
in
he didn't
that
want to change.
zone.
Maybe in the zone, he just
Yeah.
was.
He didn't want to waste time because they were chasing on the last day. They were resorting to
May
time wasting tactics, England.
May have been.
And remember, they needed 54 runs of 50 balls. In that era, it might have seemed a lot more. But England resorted to a lot of time wasting. And they fell short by 9 runs. They couldn't get the 9 runs remaining. That's why it was a draw. But apart from that, 1990, then 2002, Dravid's double hundred here. 2007, you saw 664 scored. Kumble registering his first and only 100 here
Yep.
at the
Yep.
Oval. But, and if you
He
look
got
at,
his 100 of Kevin Peterson.
inside edged and Matt Fryer, went between Matt Fryer.
Had no clue where his helmet went, just ran for
he
it.
ran. I remember that. The whole dressing room stood up
Yeah.
to cheer him on.
And that was the only 100 hit in that whole tour by Indians.
Ah,
No
yeah.
one else had hit 100.
Yeah.
Tendulkar fell for 92, Dhoni fell for 92.
Yes.
Then I think Dhoni made 76 at Lords. Lords, everybody struggled because of Anderson. So, and we are saved by the rain.
So from 36 to 2021, 14 test matches. So if there was a ground that India would have handpicked, if they were asked to handpick, Oval could have been
Yeah.
that ground. and so they're lucky in that regard. But I think also because it is, compared to all other grounds, probably one of the most batting friendly tracks that you will get compared to everywhere else. So that's why it suited the Indian team and their style of play. So they'd be happy that it's happening at the Oval. So that's another tick mark.
And remember, Australia also, we look at from 1971, why the cutoff period, because India won there 52 years. I think it's a big sample size. Australia also won only 3 tests there. So you are almost on a level playing field even there. Australia won in 72, 2001. Even the great Border and Steve Waugh sides have struggled at the Oval. And they won in 2015. And if you want to contrast that even further, 2019, the last test Australia played here, they lost. Last test India played here, they won. 2021.
Very nice. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect stat.
I'm just a little carried away with the lineups for the FA Cup final.
FA Cup.
What else do we have when we're looking at the conditions?
So, but however, there is a small disclaimer that I would like to give on those conditions at the Oval, because I had said 36 years you had not lost there from 1971 to 2007. Unfortunately, in the last 3 tests that you have played, you have lost 2. In 2014, you lost by an innings and 244 runs, but that was the peak of India getting totally demoralized. You lost at Southampton, you suffered a 3-day loss at Old Trafford. Here
11 they didn't play. No.
11 they played.
No, 11 they played Lords.
Lords, they played Trent Bridge.
They played Trent
Edgbaston.
Edgbaston.
And Oval.
And Oval.
Tendulkar 91.
Yeah, 91.
When Bresnan got death threats.
Of course. But India did better
Yeah.
in that test match compared to.
But it was a meek capitulation because Tendulkar and Amit Mishra had held on 91 and 84. But once those two fell, Swan took 6 wickets and we just capitulated to 4
No, but compared to the other test matches, Lords, I think you were in a good position in that series, but then from there on.
But 2014, absolutely hopeless situation you were in. Nobody stepped up. And
so actually, if you take a look at the last 4 tests, you've taken 3. You've lost 3.
Yeah,
because 11 will also come, right?
11, 14, 18. But
so you've lost 3.
Yeah.
That's not great news.
But
you won last.
You won the last in 2021. Thanks to
you have momentum, no?
You have momentum.
But again, another disclaimer: all of these results are against England.
Yes, and in a different time altogether, July, August. But 2018, you lost, but you unearthed a new gem called Rishabh Pant in that match. 114, he shared a superb partnership with KL Rahul, 149. And we saw what Pant could do. And I've done a video as to why India will really, really miss Pant. Imagine if he was there, the psychological grip that you would have on Australia, plus Oval.
Yeah, I mean, that is without a doubt. But meanwhile, I was reading, I couldn't really read, I just saw the headline of Ravi Shastri saying that if you're playing 2 spinners, then play
KS Bharat. 4 pacers, 1 Ishan.
What was the logic?
In fact, I want to talk to you guys about it.
I don't know. I didn't read it.
No, I was thinking, I just couldn't get the logic behind it.
Maybe.
Code? Do you know?
Just this is the code. But again, I haven't gone through it. Maybe we should figure out what his logic is. And I was just thinking that I just saw a headline of that. But I was saying maybe he feels that if India are playing 2 spinners, it means there are spin-friendly conditions. And Bharat may be better suited to play spinners.
But what does that got to do with...
No, plus he's got experience keeping 2 Jadeja and Ashwin in spin-friendly conditions.
That could be that. So maybe because you need a better keeper against spinners, so go with Bharat. And if you're playing fast bowlers, he feels that Ishan is good enough for fast bowlers as a keeper. Spinners, he may not be as good as a Bharat. For this. Maybe that could be other logic.
In that case, then Ashwin, he said, won't play. He said Jadeja would play. That was when he, 1 spinner when he said, no?
If 1 spinner is playing, play KS Bharat is what he's saying.
No.
If 2 spinners.
If 2, okay.
If
because he's a better keeper.
But though he didn't say it, but that's our calculated...
I think so.
Because otherwise, tactically speaking, I just couldn't understand why exactly, he went with that.
I mean, I can understand that because KS Bharat kept against Ashwin, Aksar and Jadeja in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Although those pitches, okay, if I'm parroting the Australian media, they were minefields. No, they were not, except for Indore. But yes, he did keep well against them. Ishan Kishan, on the other hand, firstly, it is a big problem if you pick Ishan Kishan. because as I said, it will be extreme. It could be extremely successful, or it would backfire spectacularly.
Big gamble.
Big gamble.
Big gamble.
ICC World Test Championship final. You are asking too much. This kind of pressure we are all dealt with. We know how to deal with pressure and all these kinds of, but this is out of syllabus here.
That's why I said, the other day I was also saying that I hope the temptation to get a like for like replacement for Rishabh Pant, I hope it doesn't draw them to
Ishan
Kishan.
I don't think they'll go that way.
Also because it doesn't send the right message also for a KS Bharat. And what you make of your own domestic circuit, I don't think it sends across the right message.
Plus, in Test cricket, you need the better keeper.
You do. That's what I was just about to say, that KS Bharat, he's been doing so well as a keeper in domestic as well, and he's played, mostly red ball cricket. So he's the perfect fit for India right now, as of now, since there's no Rishabh Pant.
And people talk about intent. I remember the one time I think he got a 41 odd in the Test series.
In the Delhi match, he hit a couple of sixes.
Exactly, and he played with intent, and he got those runs at a quick pace also. Though he didn't have a lot of runs to boast of at the end, but you could see that yes, the guy has some attacking intent also. He doesn't always need that conventional room that you will only, let's say, be striking the ball at 40, 50.
I think his batting is underrated. His batting is underrated also because he's not set the stage on fire when it comes to Test cricket.
Yes.
But I did notice in the Test matches that he's played, even though they were at home, that he does have all the shots in the book. So he's one of those who can sweep a lot. He can attack spinners, fast bowlers. So he can do that. Again, but to expect him to really do something with the bat in alien conditions like England, something that he's not used to, something that he's not been born and brought up on, those kind of surfaces or conditions, would also be asking for a little too much. I mean, there's no doubt I think Ishan Kishan would be better equipped as a batsman than KS Bharat. But I think that's not what you need to do in a Test match. You need to go with a better keeper. As we've seen, a miss here or miss there can change the complexion of an entire game. So
I know.
India,
if they have to start winning the World Test Championship cycle, you have to start on the right note, and it begins from picking the right team. Again, that mixing and matching, that matching of formats. If you mix up formats, you have had it. Because one thing that goes against KS Bharat, didn't play a single game in the IPL. But Ishan played a lot more, but because KS Bharat was with Gujarat Titans.
Could that be a blessing in disguise?
Maybe he could be one of those who was practicing with the Duke's ball.
Akshar Patel was.
Yeah, he was.
Sure. Maybe he was doing that too. I don't know.
Yep, I hope so. So you have to pick the right team, and I think KS Bharat fits in that bill.
Yeah.
You want stability. You don't want, suppose Ishan, as I said, can spectacularly fire, that's a bonus, but can spectacularly backfire also.
Yeah.
And remember, keeping in England, even MS Dhoni found it very, very difficult. It's not easy to keep in England.
You know why? The ball sometimes, especially fast bowlers,
Late.
very
Wobble.
late. No, moves very late.
Yes.
Moves
Even after
very late.
pitching.
Yeah.
Because there's
In
continuous
fact,
wind
pitching
also.
continues in one and then late movement.
Late movement, very late
very
movement.
tough.
Exactly.
And that slight movement makes it very tough. So it's a completely different ball game.
Yep.
Keep there. The other important bit for that game, have you taken the pacers versus spinners?
Yes.
So this is what it's been the last 10 years. We don't want to take, from the beginning of time because things keep changing, conditions keep changing. So we've taken the last 10 odd years, and in the 10 test matches, look at the big difference. 252 wickets for the fast bowlers and just 68 for the spinners. That's also because, there wouldn't be too many games. Majority of the games would be from countries like, let's say, England, Australia, South Africa, all of them, who rely on their fast bowlers. It's only, I think, the subcontinental teams that will focus more on spinners. So not too many spinners would have played, also dictated by the conditions. But 68 wickets, but the average is interesting. That's a better representation because that doesn't tell you how many overs are bowled. Because pacers, you could have 3, right? And they're bowling far more many overs compared to the spinners. So they will get far more many wickets, like 252 versus 68. But I think the average gives you an idea. There's not too much of a difference. Of course, the pacers are done well at 30.5 and 34.5 for the spinners. The strike rate also 57-65. There is a difference, but I don't think it's a massive difference.
Yeah, it's not the kind of gulf, let's say, that only the wickets column will show you. So the strike rate also tells you that, oh yes, you are getting a wicket once every 65 deliveries.
Yeah, but exactly. Well, that is because, as I'm guessing, 252, because let's say 70-80% of the overs in a day are bowled by them.
Yeah.
So you will end up picking those many more wickets than a spinner.
And if you look at the past Australian bowling attacks, if you want to look at them, they just had one spinner in one.
That's it.
And Lyon in this current year. Then you've got the likes of McGrath, Lee, Gillespie, Kasparovich at that time. Then
Kasparovich,
now you've got the likes of Cummins, Hazelwood, Stark, Green.
I miss Kasparovich. I really liked his action.
He was coaching. I met him last in 2017 only. At that test match, Pune test match.
Oh yeah, he was here. Yes. As a consultant, he was working with Cricket Australia at that
I
time.
met him and I remember speaking to him.
Good guy?
Yeah, very good guy. Very friendly.
Very friendly, yes.
Yeah.
He and Gillespie are very friendly personalities.
Gillespie also. Gillespie, I had a...
Jay Shaw?
Jay Sean. I spent a full day with him in his playing days. There was a
nice.
event that we had to do. We had to spend the whole day with him, filming with him.
Wow.
So it was good fun. We played pool and we had meals and whatever. There he narrated a story to me that he would go through India tours just living on omelette. Because he had such a sensitive stomach to Indian food. Just couldn't eat it.
Yep.
So he'd just order omelettes and have it like breakfast, lunch, dinner was omelette. Like with bread or whatever.
Yeah.
So he was surviving on omelettes.
Wow.
Much later, I'm guessing now he's developed an appetite for Indian food.
Yep.
But I'm talking about when he was playing.
Yes. But if you look at the spinners versus pacers, I mean, look back not just for 10 years. I mean, the most impactful, if you have to say, Muralidharan. At the Oval, Sri Lanka's first test win in England came at the Oval in 98. And it was Muralidharan, 9 wickets, 16 wickets in that.
I'm saying if the conditions are overwhelmingly in favor of fast bowlers, by all means, play more fast bowler, one spinner. Don't make the mistake you made last time in that WTC final. But I'm saying, if it's like a 50-50 sort of a situation, you think, then go with your best 5 bowlers. If that means 2 spinners, so be it. Go with your best bowlers.
Because I think Australia have got their bowling lineup sorted. They are going to go with Hazelwood, Stark, Cummins. If Hazelwood's injured, then Boland comes in.
Yeah.
Then you're playing Green and Lyon. That's about it. I don't think they're going to play either Murphy or of the other spinners. I don't think so. Just Lyon.
Yeah.
Because if you want to accommodate, say, 5 out and out pace bowlers, then you have to drop Warner.
No, I think, like Nikhil said, like India should be backing the best 5. They'll be backing their best pacers as well. And of course, they have a much better pace attack than spin attack. And Lyon is enough.
Yep.
You're not playing in India where you need a Murphy,
Because see, India, mostly if you look at the 3 pacers, they are sorted. Shami, Siraj and Umesh. The only thing is whether you get Shardul in and play only Jadeja or Jadeja Ashwin. If they look at this stat of 68 wickets, then I think you are reading a bit too much into those stats. I think play according to the situation.
I don't think they won't. Let's take a few questions then.
Subhas.
Rohit Reddy says, due to the lacquer of Duke's ball, it does not move on early, but lacquer is on every ball, right? SG has lacquer, Kukubara has, but why is it so, distinctly different in terms of behavior of the Duke's ball?
Exactly.
Kanav is asking the same thing. What do you think about Shardul as third pacer in the 11? No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Just to bolster my batting, I go with the 5th or the 6th best pacer available to me. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
I will go with my 3 best fast bowlers, and without doubt, those are Shami, Siraj and Umesh. They have to play.
Yeah.
Other than that, if you need the 4th, then maybe you bring in a Shardul, because then the balance of batting comes into play and all of that, because you're going to be missing an all-rounder. So then I agree, but otherwise no. Unless somebody would play Shardul as somebody play Shardul as a third fast bowler.
No.
I would still play Aksar, let's say.
No, but you'll play Akshar as a second spinner, right?
That's the thing.
But the question
Are
is,
you
will you
going
play
to drop
Shardul as your
Jaddu?
third fast
You
bowler?
can't know Jaddu either. That's the
2 left
See, the
armers.
thing is,
If you're playing one spinner, I said it earlier,
Jaddu.
I'm going with
Yeah.
Ashwin.
Ashwin.
no Jadeja.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, not a good bad. See, he's
As
got
my
experience.
one
Saray, he's
spinner.
played at the Oval a lot.
As my one spinner, I need my bowlers to pick me wickets. I'm not looking at batting contribution.
Plus,
You not?
I mean, whatever comes. That's not to say that Ashwin can't. By the way.
Yeah, of course.
again the
They
psychological.
do it, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
But their primary job is to
See, I would agree with Ashwin because Australia has got 3 left-handers in their top order. Khwaja, Warner, potentially Head. And if you want to go even further, Hazelwood and Stark.
The name I was missing here. Renshaw's not here though.
He is in the
he's not
subs.
a
squad, I think.
He is in the subs. He's in the squad.
But,
he and Mitchell Marsh are in the squad. So that is the reason why. But again, Renshaw, why would you pick it? Oh, why did I forget one more name? Alex Carey.
Carey, yeah.
6 left-handers potentially.
Yeah.
So that Ashwin factor could very
Ashwin
well be
factor,
there. And
yeah.
remember, I found the reason bogus in 2021. Oh, because there were cloudy conditions, you couldn't play Ashwin.
Yeah.
What?
No.
Ashwin.
That is also something, by the way, Ravi Shastri said. He didn't admit it in those many words, but he said that if you play the best 11, unlike last time, he said that. So that's an
Thank
admission.
goodness.
Yeah, it is. I know that he can't deny.
Everyone knows you didn't play
Can
the best
anyone
11.
deny India goofed up the 11 there? Nobody can deny. No point being arrogant or bombastic about it. You have to accept.
Yep.
And then that's the sign of a sensible man. You made a mistake, you made a mistake. Accept it.
Yep.
Mr. Shekhar says, as an outsider, how do you gauge the team environment now in comparison to the torrid period between 24 October
21 Dubai.
And-
Asia Cup till World T20.
No, right now I think it's far better at that time. But that was also because of the whole captaincy, switch of captaincy and all of that was happening. I think that kind of ruined the...
Plus your premier batsman was in the middle of that slump.
Yeah, all of that.
And
Which is why captaincy talks also started. So clearly it did affect the team.
Yep, absolutely.
Much better. One word answer.
Yeah.
Yes. That we will see after 11th of June, how the team environment is. After 11th June, we'll get a much clearer picture. What if India unfortunately doesn't win? Will you then say the team environment was great? No.
But अब दिल से आवाज आ रही है सबके.
We'll see. Let me take a few questions. We have many days to talk about Dil Se Awaaz. Once I'm there, I'll see the conditions and then my...
फिर जागेगी.
Karan Sutar says, I think Ashwin should play because of left-handers of Australia and Ashwin batting is a bonus. I think Bharat is starting ahead of Kishan because of skill. Karan,
Yes.
Bang on.
Bang on.
agreed.
Agreed.
I'm Ashwin.
Cool.
Jadeja ke aage is put Ashwin. Huh? You were very surprised.
But गलत तो नहीं है. गलत तो नहीं है.
Silly Point is saying barking dogs, which is he's quoted Aussie bowlers, he's calling them. He says they seldom bite. Their pacers have bottled many games in the past 3 years. And he says King and Hitman Sharma, that is Virat and
No, he's
Rohit.
saying Virat is not the king. King is Rohit. I think he's a Rohit Sharma fan.
okay. I thought he's talking King as in Virat also and Hitman Sharma also.
No comma there, so
Achha,
No
commas.
comma.
So, okay.
we don't know.
So he feels Rohit Sharma will score a double
Yeah.
century.
And the other one,
Oh.
that's the critique, unfortunately.
Virat won't score. Silly Point, very mean.
Very mean, yeah.
But to be fair, I think I was reading Sanjay Manjrekar. He said, "Don't worry about Rohit's form when it comes to
India.
for
International.
Test matches."
Test
Okay.
matches.
Yeah, because T20 Test matches. I think I kind of agree.
Yeah. Remember,
Rohit's
he
been
won you that
outstanding.
Nagpur test
Yes.
with that century. And
Single-handedly.
last time you played at the Oval, it was Rohit Sharma who scored that century, 127.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Adif Hitler. I know what he's but he's written Adif. He wants to know what's your opinion of the new jersey. He loves it. Simple, clean, and stylish. It is much simpler, yes, compared to the more complicated designs we would get earlier. And to be fair, I also kind of like this. Clean, plain, simple design. You got the color on, and of course the manufacturer's got his logo and trademark, all of that. Which is fine, which the earlier one also. But now earlier it would have many colors here, there, some lotus, this,
Orange.
that.
For me,
Too
nothing,
many designs.
White.
nothing beats the 92 retro jersey.
I agree.
But I'll tell you
92
what,
retro jersey was my favorite.
my first impression of the test kit that's been released, I was like, yeah, this is like 85% Real Madrid jersey. Let's just hope it gives 85% the success that Real Madrid have had in the
It's
Champions
really
League.
nice. I must say it's different.
Yeah.
I'm looking
So
forward
like,
to watching them.
बन जाएं champions इससे.
No, because see, I think why they've done it is because they really want their branding to stand out, the manufacturer, and that jersey allows
stripes.
them. If you were going with very traditional whites and just having a logo, then it's not distinctly
It's not
different.
stand out. Yeah.
There's 3 stripes and their
Iconic,
logos.
It was very smart of them to incorporate those 3 stripes
Yeah.
that wear on the jersey.
Well,
the marketing guys, when they must have sat in that meeting and all that, it's like, should we be putting this kind of money, because a lot of these big manufacturers are also pulling back on sponsorship.
Yeah.
So, but somebody must have said, yeah. So he's like, how do we benefit? Then he must be like, because we are going to paste our logo and it will be distinctly different and everyone will identify and this and that. And so once that decision was taken, this must be a subsequent decision. Once they decided to sponsor, then the subsequent decision in that board meeting would have been to have their logo. So actually make the most of spending that kind of money, I think.
by the way, guys, since we're talking about the jerseys, we've put those pictures out as well on our Instagram handle, on Twitter as well. So do take a look at those pictures as well. The players had that photo shoot.
Yep. Real Madrid style.
Enter करें.
Ala Madrid.
Address है आपके पास?
Ala Madrid.
Oh,
yeah.
डाल
Yes.
देना।
Any
आप
other
note
comments,
कर दूंगा।
Anurag?
आप गेट पे एड्रेस दे दें, मैं अप्रूव कर दूंगा आपकी एंट्री.
Okay, Dex is saying Stark will be a real threat at the Oval. I mean, left-hander. I mean, the only flaw, it's not a big flaw as such, but if you play Ashwin, you don't have a left-hander at all. In that entire batting lineup, if you have to look at it. Because Rohit, Shubman,
True.
Cheteshwar Pujara, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, KS Bharat,
But that's fine.
Ashwin 7, then if you're playing only one spinner, that's Ashwin, and you're playing 4, Shardul, Siraj, Shami, Umesh, not a single left-hander.
I had any day. I don't think I would want to be thinking about that. Let's say, because the idea is to play my best 11. I can't be looking at who's a lefty, who's a righty in my team. Yes, I can plan according to what my opposition, make is going to be like. But then on the day, I would want my best 11 to be there, and that's fine. Righties have delivered, left hand, right hand. Yes, it plays a part, but
One dimension, remember, that was a major complaint that came from the Indian batting. That's why we didn't do well in ICC events. Remember, that's why.
Few comments. Dex feels Stark will be the real threat, and Aman Sharma feels India will win only if Kohli performs.
So I do agree very partly, but I think Stark, ever since he's modified his action, he's been all over the place.
Agreed.
The modifications action came primarily because to reduce his injuries.
Yes.
but even then he was effective. Abhi
In the one test that he had,
and the ODI series as well.
ODIs, I agree. But see, Stark has always been a better white ball bowler if you look at it. He's gotten the fastest to 100 wickets, fastest to 150 ODI wickets. He's a better ODI bowler. As far as test, remember when India won at the Gaba, it was Stark's lack of control. You needed one guy to hold one end up. Shubman Gill took him to the cleaners in that match. So, if India go after Stark, I think the problem will be with the rest of the bowling. They just cannot hold it up.
Yeah. On that note, shall we call it a evening?
Yes.
See you tomorrow.
From
I will join you live on the dugout.
from the
From
Oval.
Oval.
Yes.
Be a lot of crowd for you tomorrow. Be quite worked up by then.
Let's see. But once I get there, I'll get my connections, everything,
Yeah,
phone, data,
that
all
as
of
well.
that. Let's see.
Yep.
But we'll touch base.
Yes. 6:15, meaning it will be about 1:45 there in the afternoon.
For you, yeah.
No. What time I'll reach there?
No. If we connect
Dugout
for a
time.
dugout at 6:15 here, it will be 1:45 in the afternoon there.
Yeah, I could attempt.
So what time?
I'd just would have reached, but could try. Let's see if I've reached my hotel and I can get Wi-Fi.
That.
Wi-Fi shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Most hotels have a very good Wi-Fi there.
But if I reach my thing,
That's
see.
the thing.
I think I only land around 10ish, 10:30, and apparently the queues are 10:30 or 11, something like that. So if I have to be there at 1:30, the queues at Heathrow are like
Heathrow,
taking 1-2
all the
hours
best.
to just exit. That's what
These
I've
days?
heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Summer time, right?
Peak
Half of the
travel
Indians
time.
only who go there.
It's the peak of peak travel times
Yeah, peak.
at this time.
So it's taking a long time.
Hope
to-
your luggage is safe.
that also is another issue.
Big issue at
Yeah.
Heathrow, massive issue.
I remember seeing this picture of all the luggages just.
Yeah, last year
Yeah.
there were a lot of people I know. They were like, was worse than a bus stop,
Yeah.
like a crowded bus stop. That's how crowded it was.
They say every day about 25,000 luggages get misplaced at Heathrow.
Yeah.
25,000 a day.
Don't say that.
Yeah, I know. That's why all the best.
And take care of the phone also.
Huh?
Yeah.
I will.
Okay.
I think there's a super chat.
Another last super chat. What is it? Okay.
Acha, he's talking about Sarvjeet is a Virat fan.
Yeah.
Who's not happy with what Silly Point has said.
Absolutely.
So he's saying Virat has 11 Sena away test runs.
Yep.
That's class. He's saying Rohit only one whole career.
But whenever it came to Sena tours, Rohit got injured very frequently.
Yeah.
Virat has got a century in New Zealand. He's got, I think, 4 in Australia.
Don't fight, guys. They're both playing for the same team. Huh?
Yes.
Rohitians and Virat.
Yeah,
Up to forget IPL ka thing. Now only one Nawaz.
One.
Yes.
We need to unify now.
Yes, exactly.
Chalo, on that note, couldn't take all your questions.
Yeah, but Jack
thank
Alice
you.
is asking a question.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for taking our time joining us on the Dugout. As I said, next Dugout, try and join you live from London. But do subscribe to Sports Today if you haven't already, because we're going to bring you all the latest updates from Ground Zero.
Yes.
A lot of exciting things coming up. Apart from the Indian team practice and all of that, we'll also get you expert opinions from our experts in Sunny Gavaskar, Harbhajan Singh. You'll have all of that, latest news, everything that you desire from there. So what are you waiting for? Press the bell icon, because that actually tells you as soon as the latest updates is up. And the most important thing, weather updates. You'll get that also.
Yes.
That's most important.
Live from Ground Zero.
Yes.
Indeed.
See you. Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye.
Shabba khair.
Shabba khair.